ready. We're ready to begin. The Maamar this week is a Maamar from Parshas Noach. It is a Maamar that the Rebbe said 23 years ago. 23 years ago, Shabbos Noach, the 6th of Cheshvan. Oh, exactly the same calendar setting like this year. And Tavshem Mem Zayin, late 1977. The Rebbe discusses the Teva of Noach, the Ark, Noach's Ark, and what it signifies in Avodas Hashem. It's not a long Maamar, and it's a very basic Maamar, basic concepts.
What year?
87.
87. I said, 1987.
77.
77, I said. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so in the Maamar, the Rebbe begins in the Maamar. Tzeyar tase la teva gamer. That Tzeyar, you should make a window for the teva, for the ark. Or maybe Bazer Kveit Kedushas Meiri B'cham Yadmur, so the previous Rebbe, who's the father-in-law of the Rebbe, which this is the abbreviation in Hebrew. Meiri B'chami, my teacher, my master and my father-in-law, B'divra Maschol Zedish Nastav Shenzayin, in this Divra Maschol, in this Hasidic discourse from late 1907, late 1906, the Hemshech Tishrei Tov Shenzayin Daskinen Bei, in the Hemshech of Tishrei, of Tavshin Zayin, which we are dealing with now. In other words, it seems like the Rebbe's Maimorim of Tavshin Mem Zayin were based on, in other words, late 1987 were based on 1947. So the Rebbe, the previous Rebbe's Maimar is a Maimar from 1947. Tavshin Zayin, 40 years earlier. This Maimar was said 40 years earlier. After 40 years, a person understands the intuition, the sense of his Rebbe. What does he bring in the concept? In the Hasidic discourse, that Rashi explains on this passage that you should make a window for the ark. That some say it was a chalein, it was a window, and others say that it was a stone, a shining stone, a precious stone that shined.
An illuminating stone.
Illuminating stone. And the previous Rebbe elaborates on this, and he asks the question that that light is a creation made from heaven. That the Eibishter said there should be light, and there was light, which means that it is something which is from heaven. How is it appropriate to say asiyah, that you're going to make light, as it says in the pasuk, tzeyar tase la teva, you should make light. And he explains in the Maamar in the Hasidic discourse, the explanation, these two explanations. One is that it's a window, another one is illuminating stone. What does it mean, doing in them? That the person should have some kind of manual participation in this inyan.
Well, the pasuk he's quoting, "Vayomer Elokim Yehi Or," is not even the kind of light that we're talking about.
Right.
That was a primordial light that was put away. So that's
But
not
light
but
light in general, in the mocker of the inyan of light is bidei shamayim. If we're talking here about a light of Even Teva Me'ir Elohem, what was Even Teva? Okay, he's talking about the illuminating stone, but the Rebbe asked the question, in general, light in general is the creation from heaven. Originally, the 6 days of creation, so the question is, how is it appropriate in something which is from heaven that there should be inyan of asiyah, that a person has a manual participation, a manual intervention?
But everything was made from heaven. Stones also.
Good.
Everything came from God.
Right.
So
So, but the question is, if we're saying that it's a Evan, a Chalein, if we're saying Lamashal Evan Teva Me'ira Lohem, that it's Evan Teva that should give light, so what does it mean? Seyar Tase La Teva. You're placing it in the Teva, not that you're doing. According to one Pirish, it means it was giving light, it was generating light. So it should have said Seyar Tesader, Seyar Tachnis. The Lashon Tasa means you should make light for the Teva. It's not doesn't come from the person doing it. It's the person is only merely putting it in, positioning it that it should be there available for light. So it's known the Pirush of Merein Abal Shem Tov. Shehuva Bekama became as Bedach. That's brought many places in Chassidus. Comes from Kesser Shem Tov. V'gam b'drushin Nisidereinu, and also in the Hasidic discourses of the previous Rebbe, the Tevas Neach and Tevas, the Tfilo Teira. The Tevas Neach are the words from Tfilo and Teira. Chaim Pirush HaPosik, and this is also in the words of the Posik, Be'ata v'chol beischo ela teva v'gema. That you and your whole household should go in, ela teva, should go into the ark. What does this mean? That a person has to enter, put himself in, place himself into the words of Torah and Tefillah and become attached to it. Which means basically that not only that he says it, but he should actually think the words and he should be in the words. It's interesting to note in the Ayem Yem, the Rebbe brings in Chav Zayin Tishrei. Is it Chav Zayin Tishrei? Yeah. Chav Zayin Tishrei, that it says over there that the Torah mitzvahs encompasses the person completely. From the beginning, where he is as a woman, as a child, as a fetus in the mother's womb, till Mamash 120. So it says it gives him midas teves, it gives him refined characteristics, different things, features that a person needs in his personality. It's interesting. I mean, lately it was something that research was done on it. Benegir to the Ayem Yem, that there's a lot of times. I can say now, without even going through the year, that probably in every week there's at least one pisgon that reflects the zayar of that week. That reflects the zayar of that week. It happens to be in Parshas Neach, there's two of them, which I found a direct connection.
What's Pitgam?
The pisgam is, one of them is this one, that Torah encompasses the person completely. It is the Tuesday Neach. Tuesday Neach is when Neach is already in the Teva, right, and he's already surrounded by everything around him. How does Torah come with Teva's Neach? So the Zayar says, Man Teva do Arein Habris. That what does Teva mean? The ark, it means Torah. The Torah encompasses the person completely. That's all. The Zayar says only this piece. But the Rebbe takes already this punkt the day that he is together with his family, and whoever went in there, the chayas and everything else, the animals and all of them are in the ark. Another time I found the interesting thing is Chavtes Tishrei. Chavtes Tishrei actually relates to this week. Chavtes, not Shabbos. Chavtes Tishrei, the Rebbe writes that the Baal Shem Tov once showed when somebody expressed a certain thing, anger about somebody else, that he says, I would tear my enemy as a fish. As a fish. So the Baal Shem Tov showed how when they put their hands, all of them on their shoulders, he showed how he actually was accomplishing it in a different world. So he shows that from everything, there is something that's created. In a form or a matter, there's some kind of effect that it has in the higher worlds. When you look in the Zayar, in the end of the Parsha Neach, which speaks about that the 70, they all got together to build a tower. So then it says over there that they were going to do certain things with their actions and their words. They have hashpah. Later it didn't work out because they didn't use it right. But the vart is that it has a certain pu'ula. He says the Lashon, it has a pu'ula, a certain effect, the inyan of saying the words. Wow. Then when we look weiter in the Ayem Yem, in Vov Cheshvan, speaks that there was a Rabbi Yossi Lepeler. He was a chassid. And the Alter Rebbe wanted to bench him, wanted to bless him. So he said, what are you going to bench me with? You're going to bench me with richness? I don't want it to be like an idol. You know, that they have ears and they don't hear, and they have eyes and they don't see, godliness. He says, Arichos Yomim, long years. He says, I don't want Pershi, I don't want peasant years. So this is basically what it is. You look in the Zayar